Commissioner Walde,
Yes.
Commissioner Pettix,
Here.
Chairperson Wright,
Here.
Commissioner Caldwell. Okay, I'm gonna put him as absent right now. We do have a quorum, Chair. We can proceed.
Okay.
Call to order. Notice of meeting. The notice of the Board of Commissioners will take place electronically in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, specifically NJSA 10:4-9.3. Notice of this meeting was given by one public advertisement with sufficient notice herewith to the Home News Tribune. 2, filing advance written notice of this meeting with the city clerk's office, and 3, posting this notice on the public website of the Housing Authority. During the meeting, participants, including members of the public, may be muted by the host. However, there will be an opportunity for them to participate and speak during the public portion of the meeting, where participants will be unmuted at their request. Thank you. Time for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of
The
the United
flag
States of America and to the republic for
Republic
which
for which
it
it
stands,
stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and
liberty and
justice for all.
justice for all.
I feel like we had better timing in grade school. All right, let's dive into it.
Consideration of previous meeting minutes. Anybody have any questions? What I submitted, what I put out? If not, I'll need a motion in a second.
Motion.
I'll second it.
1 second. Let me get. Sorry. Motion by Chairperson Wright, second.
Yes.
By Commissioner Pettix.
Commissioner Pettix. Roll call. Commissioner Dunlap.
Yes.
Commissioner Walde.
Yes.
Commissioner Pettix.
Yes.
Chairperson Wright.
Yes.
Let the record reflect. Mr. Caldwell's absent, Mr. Giorgiani's absent, and Miss Medina Hernandez is absent. I just have one question at this point.
Yes.
Hi, Council President Escobar. I see you there. Just give me 1 second. I've got to go back into the minutes. There was something. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. So unfortunately, I made a mistake, but I caught myself. I don't believe, Mr. Manfredi, that Mr. Dunlap can vote on this because he was absent at the last meeting. Correct?
Correct. If he was absent, it is for the best practice that he not. So I'd suggest that given that we have a 4-person quorum this evening, we carry the minutes to our next meeting till other members can be present who were present at the prior meting.
Okay.
So I think we should correct the record to reflect that.
Great. I will, did someone say something? Sorry. Oh, that's a computer talking there. Little cybersecurity issue we've got going on, I see. We'll address that in a little bit. Okay, so we're going to hold those minutes until the next meeting, but they're ready to go. They're in everyone's packet. We've seen them. Sorry, I was under the impression we were going to have 5 individuals here.
So the record should reflect then that the vote by the board, that if we could make a motion to table those minutes for now and carry them forward to the next meeting, just on the basis that Commissioner Dunlap was not present. We now are aware of that.
100%. I motion.
Second. Okay.
Mr. Commissioner Walde, second.
Yes.
Okay, roll call. I guess I cannot ask Commissioner Dunlap even this one.
Well, we did a motion and a second,
Okay.
but he can vote to table them. He can vote to table them.
This vote is
And
to
they'll
table.
be carried. It's just to table. It's not
Yes.
to pass on the substance of it, but merely to table it. And the interim executive director will place it on the next board meeting agenda.
Great. Commissioner Dunlap, just to table. Commissioner Dunlap?
was trying to get questions in prior to you two talking here.
Okay. We're just tabling the minutes for the next
Can you hear
meeting.
me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for this part. I appreciate that. All I'm trying to say is I didn't know that I would not be if you would qualify
Can't
other
hear.
for this particular meeting.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I just picked it up. It was something that I remembered
And it's
was
specific.
absent. Yeah, it has nothing to do with you directly, sir. It's just a procedural thing. I cannot pass the minutes until the next meeting, until we have a quorum. And technically, for the minute purposes, you were not allowed to vote on that. So we corrected it. It got caught. Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
good. No
So just a
problem.
table. I'll need your approval to table.
That's the table. I
Okay,
understand
thank
you forward, sir. Will a
Thank you,
yay and nay be qualified eligible for anything tonight?
You'll be okay the rest of the night.
That's what I want. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Great. Commissioner Walde,
Yes.
Commissioner Pettix,
Yes.
Commissioner, Chairperson Wright,
Yes.
motion carries. Minutes. At this time, we're going to move for public comment. Anyone from the public like to say anything?
You have a public present?
Yeah, hi, Charlie Cradaville, New Brunswick today. Can you hear me all right?
Can't hear, Charlie.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I wanted to ask if there's any update on the executive director search, or at least on the timeline for when a decision might be made.
I think we'll see a decision going into the next meeting. We pulled through or mulled over all the resumes that we've gotten, compared them with the state statutes and standards, making sure that we're doing the appropriate things here. But I think, as you mentioned in the last meeting, it's nothing you want to rush to. It's a very serious position. And New Brunswick has a very high demand for that particular role, on that particular role.
Absolutely. I also wanted to ask if there's any update on the creation of a nonprofit and assembling a board for the nonprofit.
Let's see. Do we have any update? Ms. Toto, do you want to field that one?
We have diligently done our searches, and our legal counsel has done a phenomenal job in the formation documents. I think we have a pretty good basis to move forward. We're just anxiously awaiting the formation of it and the delivery of funds, and we can move forward with serving low-income individuals that so desperately need it in our area. You know, we talk about all the great development and we welcome that, but there's so many people that need assistance, and this will help direct. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Manfredi, and he's been involved. He's been working really hard with this, and he excites me at times when he talks about it. So Joe, if you want to give a
legal
brief
component of it now, so that's solid. Joe, you want to speak to it?
Yes, we have completed all the formation documents, as the chairman and the interim executive director has said, and all the necessary documents to go to the IRS. And we are ready for our agenda with our first meeting, subject to final board members and notice to the U.S. Internal Revenue Service.
That's fantastic. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, will that meeting be open to the public?
Mr. Manfredi.
So that is the nonprofit. As a nonprofit, we are not a public entity, so we're not required to follow or adhere to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. However, obviously, we'll be filing any necessary public documents as required by law.
Well, I'm disappointed to hear that this is going to be done behind closed doors. I at least that's what I'm taking away from your remarks there, just because you may feel like it's legally justified not to be open to the public. I would submit that, if the board's doing good work and the nonprofit is actually serving the public, there's no harm from sharing those meetings with the public and opening them up to the public. I think that's should be the default.
So Charlie, let me add this. I'm so sorry to interrupt you, and I won't dock you any minutes or anything, even though you went 4 minutes over last time. But listen, that's Mr. Manfredi's job to give you the law, right? We don't ask him to get into public policy. He just gave you the law. It's incumbent upon us, if I am the executive director of that agency, of that nonprofit, and the board members, it would be smart of them to want at times to be open. I'm not saying all the time or sometimes or 1 or 2 times a year, because that gives them the groundwork for information that can get out to the public and the people that are needy. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, I served for a while with Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and they would do it. And there's some things that, you know, I know you're going in a different direction with the legality of it, but there's not going to be anything sinister. There can't be. The way it's set up and the way the mission of this money and how it has to be spent for a specific purpose. There is no wiggle room. There is no misinterpretation. It's a pretty thought out with the officials from the city and Mr. Manfredi, and what I have to give you props here, Zach, what Chairman Wright did from the authority side. Chairman Wright will not be involved with the board, with the nonprofit board. This is an important step. So, of course, people want to be transparent. It'll be the most transparent board I think you've ever seen in your life in Middlesex County, and I can say that openly. So, and it's for an intended purpose, and it's to help low-income residents. Okay, sorry, Charlie, go ahead.
Thanks for all that. Yeah, I just would hope, if you're seeking to be the most transparent, that, you know, we've got to know that the first meeting is an important moment. The precedent is going to be set, and I hope sincerely that that precedent is that the meeting is open.
You want to be invited to the prom. I get it. I understand.
I would appreciate an invitation. Thank you.
Okay.
I do want to ask about the redevelopment on the agenda tonight, and I presume there'll be some kind of presentation. I would respectfully ask if the chair is willing to reopen to questions after the presentation, just in case there's anything that the public wants to ask about. But, you know, off the top of my head, I'd like to know if the plan is still potentially involving the cultivation of cannabis, and also, you know, what the holdup is on getting the development going. I know it's now behind schedule, and, you know, quite frankly, I think this is an example of why the Housing Authority, also serving as the redevelopment agency, is not a great pairing, because, for instance, this project, as it stands now, has 0 housing units proposed, affordable or unaffordable. It's just a warehouse. So I don't really see why the Housing Authority is going to be involved in this unless there's something really in it for the residents. I'd like to learn more about what might be in it for the residents, and also, you know, what role the Housing Authority is playing here. For instance, how big is the fee? How much money is this bringing in? And, you know, if the applicant is asking for an extension of time, are they going to pay the fee again? Are they going to pay a further fee? Because I'm really struggling to see how it makes sense for this board to be, you know, making decisions about a warehouse redevelopment when we're in the middle of a housing crisis and struggling to build enough affordable housing. So hopefully somebody can answer those questions. Maybe now a good time.
Charlie, you done for the evening? Any more questions?
The only other question I do have is also on the agenda, the cyber incident plan. And I was just curious what role Amtech would have with that, the company that runs the website for the Housing Authority, or are they involved in this creation of the plan or the implementation of the plan? And yeah, any information you could provide about those 2 agenda items, I would appreciate.
All right, Charlie. If we don't get to your answer tonight, we'll be sure we have the questions and comments, and we'll be sure to get it back to you in writing. I think we've pretty much answered over the last 4 months almost all your requests. I believe we have, correct?
Oh, I think we're doing a lot better. I would just, you know, reiterate the ask that you know, after the presentation from the redeveloper.
Well, I think having them back here is going to open the door to those questions, and I believe that's what we're going to hear this evening. So let's get into it. Let's not belabor the point.
Get into it.
All right. So if that is it from the public, Let's move this
So-
thing forward.
I have a report, the secretary's report, and I'm not even going to apologize, but I've got to say it's usually in writing. I don't know what happened, but it got ahead of me a little bit, and most of the stuff is in my packet. So I don't like to use the apology word, so I'm not going to use it. But I would like to take this time, and I want everybody to know who's here in the public, and hopefully, Charlie, you'll print something of this. But I'd like to take this time and thank the Board of Commissioners of this authority for their unwavering dedication to this tenant population that we have is so overlooked. And I want to call out tonight, and we witnessed this firsthand, myself and my staff, where we ended up putting out over 250 Thanksgiving Day baskets. And Chairman Wright, Commissioner Caldwell, and Commissioner Medina Hernandez, they came out. They fought against the harsh elements. They delivered these Thanksgiving baskets. It was awful out there. The weather had turned last week, raining. They got out there and they went door to door, and they saw people living there in the conditions that they're in, and smiles on their face. And these guys, they went through the entire complex, not just Right Place. They came over to Robeson Village, and it was awesome. Commissioner Walde was upset because I couldn't call him over. I didn't want to get called for having a meeting of 4. So he knows he's involved with the Christmas holiday celebration that we're going to be giving out toys. So anyone wants to get involved, please come down. But that's what it was about. And I really thank you guys. So that's my report. I thank you. I don't want to get on a soapbox about low income housing, what we need to do and how do we need to move that agenda item forward. But at this time, I think we're good. I'm going to close that report. Next time I'll have it in writing. I'll correct the record. And there are a couple of mistakes, Mr. Pettix, thank you for bringing to my attention in the board report, spelling errors that I'll tighten up as well. I really appreciate it. Let's get the agenda moving. I've closed that. There's no more unfinished business. We're going to move the new business now. Chair.
All right, new business. Let's hear it.
Okay, we're going to move resolution. Sorry. 1 second.
Authorities in Brunswick, Sovereign Consulting.
I'm not working from my desk tonight, as you guys can see. Okay. Resolution 2023, number 40. Acting as redevelopment agency, resolution approving a First Amendment to a redevelopment agreement between the Housing Authority of the City of New Brunswick and Sovereign Consulting, Inc. as redeveloper for property located at 131 Jersey Ave, Block 243, Lot 27.01 on the New Brunswick tax map for the construction of a flex warehouse facility in the 131 Jersey Ave redevelopment plan area. Chair, I'll turn it over to you, and once everyone's done, I'll need a motion in a second.
I have no immediate questions about this. I'm presuming we're presenting on the delay and the proposed use for the site going forward. I have the information here about.
Can't hear you.
Can you not hear me?
Yeah, now we
My fault. Allow me
Okay.
to speak from the chest here, from the heart. So I've got the information about the proposed removal of the cell phone tower component of the site. It appears that that's the only portion of it. Is the rest of the plan, is there any aside from removal of the tower, are there any material changes to the structure or requisite site work?
There's no material, Chair, this is John Hoffman, the redevelopment council. There are no material changes. So just about the same project which you approved back in 2021. The only amendment here was a change in time because of the delays that they encouraged because of the studying the cell phone tower. And at one time, I guess the city, but the Board of Education was looking to relocate a school here, and so they were asked to wait. That and there may be other reasons which Mr. Clark that he can explain. It's basically the same application. All we're doing is extending the time which it would take to construct it. They now have to start construction by January of 2000, by June of 2024, and complete it by January of 2025. Other than that, the plan is basically the same. And I can answer Mr. Credival's question as to why it's before you, even before my time, probably 50 or 60 years ago, the mayor and council decided that the redevelopment, rather than being done by an independent agency or the city council, should be done by the housing authority because of the expertise they had in housing. So they made that decision by ordinance, and it was transferred to the housing authority, and has been that way since back probably, I think, in the 50s. I started working at it in the 70s, and that's the reason it's with the housing authority, because of the decision of the city council and mayor at that time, that they thought this was the agency that had the expertise to handle redevelopment projects. And we have here Mr. Jim Clarkin, the attorney, and his clients are here to answer any questions. And as you said before, it's a warehouse project with an office with parking and truck loading spaces, and the project's projected to cost about $13 million. And it's basically the same project as before.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, if I could enter my appearance for the record, please.
please do.
Thank you. James Clarkin of the firm of Clarkin and Vignola for the applicant. Mr. Hoffman has outlined what the application is about, the reasoning behind the delays, and it is basically the same project as you approved back in 2021. I am available, as my clients are here, to answer any specific questions that you may have. I will say that it will be vetted in detail by the planning board, as any application of this nature would be. I can also tell you that all of the standards in the industrial I2 zone in which the property is located will be met by the applicant, with one exception. That is building height next to a residential zone. In this case, the residential zone, oddly enough, is the St. Peter's Cemetery. And without making a terrible joke, the people that are 6 feet under will certainly not be impacted by a building that is slightly higher than it is supposed to be.
Fair. Fair. Okay, which I also think the zoning of it and the ecological condition of the site also speaks to why it's not housing.
That is correct. With the tremendous amount of contamination, it would be incredibly difficult to remediate it to residential site standards. It's in an industrial zone. Warehousing is a permitted use. It is a use that is needed. Certainly affordable housing is, but so are warehouses. They are integral to the marketplace and how we shop and spend our money.
Absolutely. And somebody's got to pay taxes. So let's move this forward. Any additional questions from the commissioners before they get started? Mr. Walby?
What kind of warehouse is this? I mean, what kind of materials will be stored there?
We don't know yet because we do not have a tenant. We don't know if this will be last mile, pick and pack, traditional. We're not sure the format yet until we get a tenant.
Any consideration for trucks, big trucks, because Jersey Avenue is very, kind of tight.
The site has been designed for, I believe, up to WB 62, which all of the other industrial users and warehouses on Jersey Avenue have as well. We recognize the tightness. It's one of the things that we all have to put up with. None of us like to get behind a tractor trailer, but we certainly like to place our order and get it the next day.
Are there deliveries during the day or in the evening? Most of them. I mean, you might not know it at this point.
The answer is I don't know for sure because we don't have the tenant, but we do know from experience with other facilities that these run 24/7, and that spreads the traffic out so that they are not concentrated during the morning or afternoon peak hours.
Yeah, because New Brunswick, that corner between 7 and 10, and then after 3 o'clock, it's jammed. That's
Stay away from it. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for your.
So, and a lot of those questions really should be directed towards planning. my question is there any change in your financing, any change in your capacity to complete the project based upon who's funding, anything like that?
The answer is no. We had to build in increased costs because of interest rate changes, because of substantial changes in the cost of materials. But we have compensated for that with a sufficient amount of equity. We have a significant cushion, and it's been vetted by your professionals.
I believe, if I remember, when this previously came before us, the proposed use for that site was for cultivation of not just cannabis, but for cultivation, period. Is that off the table?
No, it is still on the table. Hydroponics, we've had discussions about that. And once again, we have to wait and see who's going to be the end user. It's not off the table.
Okay. Have there been any conversations with anybody in that space, in the agricultural space?
There have been some conversations, but I really can't comment on them because I don't want to upset the apple cart, so to speak.
Understood. I think that'd be better for traffic too, Commissioner Walde, if you're transporting vegetation as opposed to flat packed goods. You're using smaller trucks.
Just,
Go ahead.
just one more question. Do you know how many employment opportunities there will be once the warehouse is done?
Once again, it depends upon the end user.
Mhm.
I could anticipate as many as 35, 38, but it also could be half of that.
Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
thank you.
Commissioner Dunlap, you have any questions?
The questions are being addressed right here, and the answers are
Okay.
being good. Thank you. Commissioner.
Okay. And Commissioner Pedix?
Thank you, sir. No additional questions.
Great. Mr. Hoffman, I think it's a wrap. Chair, I'll need a motion in a second.
I got one more just
Oh.
on this. We're going June 24 to January 25, 7-month timeline. That's no different than the previous timeline. It's just pushed back due to the delays.
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah.
We're gonna clean that area up by the year 2025. It's good news.
Oh, listen, higher and better use.
Great. Great.
Okay. so
Okay,
let's
get a motion in a second.
I got a motion.
Commission-
Oh, wait.
Commissioner Bennett,
In all fairness, we only have one participant from the community. Let's get that question in. I'll allow it. Let's start the clock. Charlie.
Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to ask about, to your point on property taxes, is the applicant planning to file for a long-term tax exemption? And also wanted to lift up my question I already asked about what the redevelopment fee is going to be. What's, what is the benefit to the authority?
Fair questions.
Hopefully it's high.
Okay. Number one, at this time, we don't have an intention to file for long-term tax exemption. Number two, like any other non-residential user, we will make a 2% contribution to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
Oh, look at that.
Here we are.
For answering my questions.
This is fantastic. All right. No other questions, comments from the public? No? All right, motion.
Chairperson.
I'll make a motion.
Motion.
I'll make a
Mr.
motion.
Pedix. Oh,
Yes.
Mr. Pedix motion. Second? Can I get a second?
Myself. I
Okay.
second.
Chair?
Sorry, I
roll
was
call.
on mute.
That's okay. Commissioner Dunlap,
Commissioner, I can't hear him.
Commissioner Dunlap, vote please.
I was having trouble hearing him earlier.
I
too.
heard him. Thank you, Commissioner. I got him. Commissioner Walde,
Yes,
Commissioner Pedix,
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Wright.
Yes.
Chair, let the record reflect. Motion passes, 4 votes, 3 abstentions, 3 absences, sorry. Okay.
Thank you very much.
For your time.
Thank you very much, and everybody have a nice holiday.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you. We'll see you soon. Next resolution, 2023-41. We're moving on. Resolution approving, authorizing, and ratifying payment of bills for October 2023.
Motion.
Move.
Chairperson Wright, motion.
Gotta pay the bills, man.
Yep.
I'll second it.
Well, Chair, Commissioner Pettis, Commissioner Walde beat you to the punch. Sorry.
Okay, fair enough.
Roll call, Commissioner Dunlap.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Walde,
Yes.
Commissioner Pettis,
Yes.
Chairperson Wright.
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution 2023-42, resolution approving a cyber incident response plan. Chair, if we don't have any questions, I'll need a motion and a second.
Move.
Questions from the commissioners?
Actually, Mr. Toto, can you just explain what this plan is? You know,
Yeah.
just briefly.
I know it, I read it, I've got more responsibilities now, but I'm gonna turn it over to Joe Manfredi. He helped craft this and move it along. If unless you don't want to talk about it, Joe, and I can go ahead and talk about it.
Sorry, no, that's fine. We can both speak to it, Director. HUD requires all public housing authorities to have now a cyber response plan. There is both state legislation on this issue and HUD direction, because obviously the housing authority has in its possession confidential information, particularly information with regard to our residents. As you know, residents submit confidential financial information. So we have to be prepared in the event of a cyber threat or a cyber breach to have a policy in effect whereby we will have steps in place to immediately address any such situation, including making proper reporting under the law to both New Jersey State Police and HUD in the event we actually had a breach of confidential information. So this is keeping with those
and the
compliance.
FBI and direct to the FBI. Yep.
Yes, and HUD Inspector General. So this overall policy is in keeping with having a protocol in place to deal with those situations. Anything else, Director, to add to it?
I don't think so. I mean, it's pretty intense. We've got a response team set up. We had to move pretty quickly with it, and I thank you, Joe, for assisting us with this plan. It was great. It was needed. We needed to do it. Hopefully, we never have to use it, but we have a plan in play.
Yes.
And you have a copy of it, Commissioner Pettis, as everyone else does. I put it in.
Yeah.
I wish I could send out hard copies to you guys, because I know it's so hard when you're on your phones or you're on your laptop and so on and looking at this stuff. But it's pretty good. It's strong, and we'll see what the criminals try to do. You know, you got to try to stay 10 steps ahead of them. So, but
Definitely.
you're good.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you very
I have a
much.
question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. One, how technical is that? And secondly, when HUD requires this, did they have any budget for us, you know, to set up the system? Or the existing budget is sufficient?
So it's not so much of a system, Joe, right?
Okay.
It's more if they break into our computer system.
Oh,
I mean, we have like malware, and we have certain things that are already set up. Once they give us our money, we can kind of budget it. You know, we can set money aside differently for different threats or different purposes and so on. So, but Joe?
Yeah, unfortunately, like with HUD, they often mandate things but don't fund it for us, so it has to be part of our overall budget. But basically, as the director said, in this situation, the steps are spelled out. There's a cyber response team. Obviously, in the event of any breach, and it has happened in housing because bad actors do start to learn about the type of information maintained on our systems. There is notification to insurance carriers and resources at the state and federal level to try to access if that were to occur.
and it looks
So
like
that's a good question,
beyond,
Commissioner.
malware's protection, I think, this one.
Yep. You know, there's more than that. There's so
Yeah.
many wares. I mean, you wear yourself out just thinking of how many wares there are. It's terrible. It's terrible what people, you know, we're victims. We're open. Just because people are poor at the housing authority, tenants, doesn't mean they don't have good credit. They got good credit. A lot of people do. They would love to get their hands on that kind of information. But Chair, any other questions?
I personally no.
Great. I need a motion and a second.
I motion.
Chair motions. Second, a move, Walde. Okay, roll call. Commissioner Dunlap. Commissioner,
Yes,
I hear you. Great.
yes,
Commissioner Walde,
Yes.
Commissioner Pedix,
Yes.
Chairperson Wright.
Yes.
Great. Chair motion passes with 4 votes. At this time, we have a walk-up. I am asking the commissioners, and I did send you guys a email. There needs to be, and I'll have Mr. Manfredi talk about it also. There is a change order that's in play here. We don't need any more money. I just, on the existing contracts that I have, I need a 60-day addition to their contracts. There's plenty of money in there if I need a service from the existing people that we're contracting with now. We need 60 more days. I'm reviewing the procurement policy with legal counsel and some other members to tighten it up. You know, we want to be ahead of the game. We want to be as progressive as possible and as sharp as possible for HUD. And I was unable to get it done under the time constraints that I was under and with everything else going on. So we're still in compliance. And I'm asking you to have a motion in a second, a roll call on it, so we can continue with the existing individuals that we have with the existing money that is there already allotted to them to continue forward if I happen to need any of the services that are already afforded to the Housing Authority.
Makes
Chair?
sense.
And I can add, Chairman, these are contracts that are just approaching their expiration date under New Jersey local public contracts. The board is allowed to extend those by 60 days. As the director said, no additional funding. While all procurements are issued for those services, the director and I have discussed those procurements and they will be issuing promptly.
Fantastic.
And
Nobody
we're
wants
trying to be as
stop it.
creative as, I do want to say this. I want to leave it because I know people have to head out. We want to be as creative and as thoughtful and as financially restraint as possible with contracts. And I think the residents deserve it, taxpayers deserve it, and we're going to do great things under that microscope. So at this time, Chair, if you have any questions or any commissioners have any questions, please let me know.
I have a question. Don't we have that amendment before for the extension?
No, that was a different amendment. We had gone over one of the, and that is not of issue tonight. We had gone over one of the general legal service contracts that had reached its capacity, I believe in July or August, and they needed an extension, but it was more about money than time extension. I'm just asking for a time extension so we can get
procurement in place.
And
yes.
yes.
For
Do you
all
want me to?
contracts, right?
I'm sorry,
For
Commissioner?
all contracts that
All
we have.
contracts that are getting close to, so I have some contracts that are up in April, let's say, or March. Those are not affected. Those will end when they end. There are going to be about 6 or 7. Some of them are intertwined. Like I'll give you an example, like Magic Finish. They do our plumbing. They do our, God forbid, something happens underneath of a building, unit modernization and things like that. So those are the ones that I am more or less concerned about and that I need some more time until I can put out the RFPs. But it's not costing anymore. I'm not hitting the budget. We're keeping it the way it is. But I just need an additional 60 days.
Oh, okay, okay.
Commissioner Pedix?
I'm fine.
Okay. Commissioner Dunlap?
yes, good.
Okay, great.
All right.
Chair, it's up to you.
Well, if it's up to me, I motion on this.
Great.
And I'm looking for a second.
I'll second it.
All right.
Thank you, Commissioner Pedix. Okay. Okay, roll call. Commissioner Dunlap?
Yes,
Thank you. Commissioner Walde?
Yes,
Commissioner Pedix?
Yes.
Chairperson Wright?
Yes.
Great. Let me hold on. I want to make sure I got everything in before I close. Joe, did we present the financial right? We presented that went through? earlier, Joe? Oh, Alberto usually catches me on it, something if I miss something.
I don't believe, Director, you missed anything on tonight's agenda.
Great. All right, time for
No.
adjournment. I'll need a motion in a second, and I would like to thank you guys all again, and thank you, Council President Escobar, for always so diligently helping our tenants out. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hi Doug, how are you?
Good, a year ago.
Oh, hey.
All right, so
Long
we have a
time.
motion to adjourn.
Great.
So-
Chair, you're motioned.
I
Second,
motion.
Yurgo, second. Roll call. Commissioner Dunlap,
Yes.
Commissioner Walde,
yes.
Commissioner Pettix,
Yes.
and Chairperson Wright.
Yes.
Great, guys. I'll be in touch. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Joe.
All right.
Okay.
Everybody have a
Good night,
evening.
everyone. Have a good evening.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
okay.
you.